Hello, everybody. Welcome to GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports, where every play counts. I'm Grant. I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Grant. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. Obviously, there's a big trade that happened that works in my favor of who I cheer for. So I'm excited to talk about that. But first things first, we'll go ahead and start with our hot take of the week. So, Mason, what is your hot take for this week?
Yeah, so my hot take is that as a Yankees fan, a lot goes on, but it's like sometimes little stuff gets kind of blown out of proportion, like the whole Jazz lollipop thing. Like it didn't need to be a whole big thing, and I think that the way that the Yankees organization as a whole, really just Aaron Boone can handle it a little better. You don't have to say, "Oh yeah, I was upset about it." Kind of just keep it in house. Just be like, "Oh yeah, we talked about it. It's not going to be an issue." So I just, again, everything circles back to Aaron Boone. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just how many times is Jazz Chisholm gonna do something though without like he's purposely doing it at this point. Like the baggy pants, the using other teammates' bats, the
hmm
lollipops, building sand castles in the middle of the infield
I'm
during
not
the
on his
game.
side at all. It's
It
just yeah.
like I feel like it is a manager's job to be like, hey, like what are you doing? You're being paid millions of dollars to be a baseball player. Stop goofing
hmm
around and focus. That's how I would want my manager to handle it personally. But I feel like at the end of the day, like Jazz just needs to like start acting like a professional baseball player. Like I'm all about the players having fun and
hmm
doing what they want to do, but there's a difference between like having fun and having a lollipop in your mouth in the middle of a game, and then also a clip surfacing of him doing it mid at bat in Fenway Park. I mean, that's just a bad look in my opinion.
I agree. I agree.
All right, for my hot take of the week, I want to talk about the Giannis trade a little bit because there is a narrative being pushed around that I couldn't disagree more with. Yes, the Bucks got an absolute haul in the return from Miami. They got a lot of young talent, a lot of depth now. They got draft capital. It's a great haul for the Bucks, in my opinion. That's not my issue. My issue is the narrative being pushed out that Giannis is going to come into a situation in Miami where he doesn't have a roster at all, that the roster doesn't have any depth. They're not going to have anyone. Because are we forgetting what Pat Riley has done in these previous years when he has a star player on his roster? He is at his best when he's filling in these roster spots with guys like Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith, Gabe Vincent, Max Struess, Duncan Robinson. The list goes on. You look at the 2013 Big Three era of Bosch, Wade, and LeBron when they needed depth. They found guys like Mike Miller and Shane Battier and Ray Allen, Chris Anderson, all these guys. Like, I am not worried at all about us not being able to build a roster now that we just quote unquote gutted it. I don't even think we gutted it because you look at the starting lineup right now, the potential starting lineup, it's Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis, and Bam. And then you got two solid bench pieces already in Pella Larson and Bobby Portis. So I really think you just need to relax on this one and watch Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra cook up this lineup because that's what they're best at, is finding these guys. The problem for the last 5 years has been getting the star player to join the team, having a number one option. And now they finally have that. So the hard part is out of the way. Now it's time for the easy part, finding shooters and guys that they think fits this roster best. So I just couldn't disagree more with the whole Heat have nobody narrative.
So would you say then that Miami is, after all the additions are done, could you see them being contenders this season?
I personally can, yeah. And I'm not even trying to be biased. Like, I think that if this team stays fully healthy, you got Giannis and Bam, which is easily the best defensive front court in basketball by far. Those are just two absolutely medicine players on the defensive end. And you got a true number one scorer now that can get you 30 points a night on any given night. I still think the Knicks will be the favorite coming out of the East, but I certainly think that the Heat will be in that 2 or 3 seed if they build a really good roster here.
hmm
Yeah, we're gonna get into the trade a little bit more, but I just wanted to get that hot take off my chest because I'm really tired of seeing like Kendrick Perkins and those guys going on there saying that the Heat aren't even as good as the Bucks are last year. Like that's just ridiculous in my opinion. Um, but we'll go ahead now and slide over to the underdog of the week. So Mason, who's your underdog for this week?
So my underdog is a guy who really kind of needed to have a good performance yesterday in the soccer world, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. Um, he had a rough game one or first, I believe, two games. I'm not too sure where they are in the records right now, but he did get 2 goals, yesterday in the win against Uzbekistan where they won 5-0. So, yeah, huge shout out to him because whenever people bring him up, it's always Messi tagged right along with him. So, to see him, kinda picking up his way a little bit, that's great to see.
Yeah, I like that. Back to back weeks now we have
Mhm.
talked about soccer on this
I'm
podcast. That's
cool with
fun.
it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. All right. For my underdog of the week, I'm going with Jack Caglione. This is a guy that came into the league with a lot of high expectations, and he never really has been able to reach his full potential so far. Still very young, so he's got a lot of time to turn it around. But he has now hit
Mhm.
5 home runs in his last 5 games, so that power is just undeniable. And yeah, just shout out to Jack Caglione for showing us that potential that he has.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna go ahead slide over to NBA now because there's been a little flurry of things going on. Obviously, we're gonna start with the biggest thing, and that is Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat. Mason, what does this mean for both sides to you?
I think that it's gonna be an immediate impact for both sides, kinda like you mentioned that Miami has, their guy now, someone who that they can build a team around, and the Bucks can kind of figure out something to do with the all the players that they acquired. So, um, a lot of guys who have proved themselves in the league, and it's just figuring out what pieces fit best where. So, yeah, I think it'll absolutely shake up the East, and only time will tell where it could go.
Yeah, I'll start with the Bucks side of things. They, I feel like they made the right choice. I know there was the whole Celtics versus Heat packages, and I'm
Mhm.
not even trying to sound biased, but I think that they made the right choice going the route of a rebuild and direction because the Celtics trade just never made sense to me. You're getting a guy like Jalen Brown, who's a fantastic player, no denying that. I think he's the most valuable player on the Celtics personally, um, but you're not really getting anything else other than 2 draft picks, and you had that team last year with Giannis, and we're like 20 games under 500, so what makes you think getting Jalen Brown is gonna magically fix everything? Um, so I think that they really needed to embrace a rebuild, and that's what they've done. They got an absolute haul from the Miami Heat: Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Kasparis Yakachonis, the 13th pick, 2 other first-round picks, a pick swap, a second-round pick. I mean, they got a great package to embrace a rebuild, and I'm hearing now that they're going to be looking to maybe even flip guys like Tyler Hero and get more draft talent out
Mm.
of a guy like Hero. So it's going to be very interesting to see their rebuild. But I think ultimately they made the right choice between the 2 packages. And then we go to the Heat side, like you said. This just basically makes the Heat relevant again. The Heat have been dying to become relevant again after the Jimmy Butler era ended really badly. Um, they're back in the mix. I'm very excited to see what they can do. There's a lot of players out there that intrigue me, like Anthony Simons, Tim Hardaway Jr., Chris Middleton. Those are all names that really, get me excited and pumped up for this upcoming season. Um, but yeah, I think that this was the move that the Heat needed to make. I think Pat Riley finally landed his one final whale. When you look at a guy like Pat Riley's career, not too many people can say they've traded for guys like Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Alonzo Mourning, Jimmy Butler, and now Giannis. Like this guy is an absolutely incredible resume as a GM when it's all said and
Mhm.
done. So I'm very excited to see this future for the Miami Heat, see them back into relevancy again. Really, Heat fans do really need to be grateful because not a lot of people can watch their teams trade away their star a year and a half ago in Jimmy Butler and then immediately bounce back and be able to get a guy like Giannis on their roster. Usually it takes years to get back in relevancy. So Heat fans should really be excited about this.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about one of the more interesting headlines. Trae Young signed a 4-year, $212 million extension to stay with the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are slowly and quietly putting together a team. Mason, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got AJ DeBonsa last night, so they definitely have a team that could be capable of doing something. What that something is, I'm not too sure yet. I feel like there's still kind of a few pieces missing here and there because they need that consistent guy, really. You've seen, uh, dang, I'm blanking. AD, jeez, I couldn't remember his
Mhm.
name. AD, and then Trey Young, really kind of coming back and forth with injuries throughout their career. So only time will tell what AJ DeMonster is going to be able to do. Still so young, all the talent in the world, absolutely, but um, I just feel like they need some more stable pieces to really be able to do something in the East.
Yeah, I definitely think that this doesn't make Wizards contenders or anything like that, but do not be
No, no.
surprised if the Wizards find themselves in the playoffs this year because they have a really fun and interesting team now with veteran guys like Trey Young and Anthony Davis. I do know that they are open to the thought of trading Anthony Davis, but I haven't seen anything um, too many rumors about him being traded yet. But those two guys, great veterans to have. Obviously, they have their health issues, so they're going to have to find health with those guys. But then you have the young talent and guys like Sar and the Bonsa now is going to be immediately thrown into that potential franchise player role. You got guys like Bilal Koulibaly, Bub Carrington. They got a lot of young talent mixed with a couple of nice veterans now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this team shapes up over the next couple of years.
Hmm.
All right, and another trade that we had was the Timberwolves sending Julius Randle in the 28th pick to the Brooklyn Nets in a three-team deal that ended up sending Nick Claxton to the Bulls. Mason, what are your thoughts on this trade as a Julius Randle fan?
Um, it's kind of funny because someone said it's really a slap in the face to Julius Randle after kind of bringing the Knicks back into relevancy and then going right back to New York as soon as they won a championship. So um, I don't think he'll be able to do as much of an impact in Brooklyn as he did with the Knicks. Brooklyn's just a very all around kind of place team. Um, you have Cam Thomas over there who's a great player, but other than that, there's really not too much to work with. So sure, Julius Randle, that's something, but again, I'm not expecting much there. But the Bulls getting Nick Claxton, I think that's gonna be good for them. They still have a young core. Josh
Mhm.
Giddey obviously has been amazing, so excited to see where all that goes.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, the Wolves sending Julius in the 20th pick, that's just a clear as day salary dump. I mean, it was
Mhm.
evident in so because like an hour later we saw Io DeSumo sign that 5-year, $112 million extension. As far as the Nets go, they now have two of the biggest ball hawks in the league between Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle. It's going to be insane trying to watch those two guys play basketball. I feel bad for Nets fans right now. That's not going to be any fun, I don't think. The Bulls part was a little interesting, seeing them get a guy like Nick Claxton now, like you said, a young core that's really building things. Obviously, they had that amazing draft pick last night, and now have Nick Claxton. Those are two very athletic players to have. So interested to see that on that end. And yeah, like I said, Wolves extended Io to Sumo right after, so it seemed like everyone got what they were kind of looking for in that trade. Not too crazy trade, but definitely interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, we have one last thing that broke about 30 minutes ago. The Lakers extended Austin Reeves to a 4-year, $185 million
Oh wow.
deal. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, that's good. Austin Reeves has been really like their kind of go-to guy, apart from, well, not even apart from LeBron and Luca, but he's just been consistent. So whenever he's on the court, you know what you're going to get from him, and I think he has potential to really be that face of the Lakers. So along with Luca, so yeah, I think it's great for them. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a fantastic sign in. Just a guy that fits in seamlessly with Luca. And obviously, we don't know the future of LeBron. I think I would
Right.
lean towards he's staying one last year with the Lakers,
Mhm.
but we'll see his future as it goes. But even if you don't have LeBron, this was a very big priority to get this guy on the team. He's a pure scorer, a guy that can get you 25 to 30 any given night. So I think that this is a great move for them. They needed to get him back. I know Lakers fans are probably thrilled about it because I did see some of them stressing when the Trey Young contract happened, like, oh, this might make Austin Reeves unaffordable if this is what Trey Young is getting. But um, the Lakers have now, extended their guy that they really like, 4 years, 185 mil. I feel like that's a fair price for a guy like him. So yeah, shout out to Austin Reeves and the Lakers.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go ahead now and slide over to the MLB, and we'll give our player and teams of the week. We'll start with player of the week. Mason, who you got?
I went with Logan Gilbert, Seattle Mariners pitcher. He went 13 and 1 innings pitched, 18 Ks. So it's been absolutely phenomenal. I believe he's 6-4 on the year. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he's a fantastic pitcher. Really good week this last week. For my players of the week, I went with two. I first went with Bryce Harper just because of hitting for the cycle. Very cool to see him hit for the cycle, first one in his career. That triple was a little suspect. I don't really know if you could rule that a triple, but they did. But yeah, I'll shout out Bryce Harper. Kyle Schwarber also had a fantastic week. I think he had like 4 home runs and 6 at bats. But I am also picking for my main guy once again, Pete Crow Armstrong, who has owned the month of June. Back-to-back player of the weeks now, batted 11 for 20, 550 average, 5 home runs, 7 RBIs. In the month of June, he has now had 32 hits, 17 RBIs, and 10 home runs. So this guy is the best player in baseball in this month. So he deserves to be talked about. Pete Crow Armstrong, back-to-back players of the week.
Shocker.
I mean, you gotta look at the stats, man. I don't know what to tell you. The guy's on fire. He's in a home run every game, it seems like.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go team of the week now. Who you got?
I went with the Padres. They're 6-4 in the last 10, and despite them being as good as they have been, they're still 9 games back behind the Dodgers. So hopefully they can kind of fill that gap as they have been the past year or two. But Dodgers are just on a roll, so I don't know if they'll do that anytime soon.
Yeah, Padres, Tatis starting to heat up. He hit a home run last night to tie the game, and Manny Machado at the walk-off. Hopefully that makes him start to heat up because he's had a dreadful start to the season. For my team of the week, I went with a negative pick, and I went with the team that lost to the Padres last night, and that is the Braves, because we're kind of seeing their first rough stretch of the season. They've been a really good team all season long, but they've hit their first rough patch, 3-7 in their last 10 games. We'll have to see how they're able to respond. I know Ronald Acuna is hurt right now, so missing their number one guy. But yeah, they've been good all year long, so this is like the first rough patch, and we got to see how they respond. So only time will tell. But yeah, that's what I went for my team of the week.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to be able to see all of our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description, links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason. Sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.